This is a interesting video about the phone, which sometimes there was limited information about this. I'm just going to play this video.
You can see footsteps coming to the end of here, but it doesn't look like there's any gone down, I'll be honest. Side path, just here, just a little bit before the end here, and it takes you to a little house. Down in the side there. You go down through the bushes, there's another path that goes all the way. You can't see it unless you're actually on the path. I got to about there. You turn back, but if anyone has another day tomorrow, has a full day and wants to try and get to the court, along there, down there.
So that was just a little clip. Someone said some of the messages, to be more specific, he missed the track in Masca. He partied, he left with people he had met and they took him to Masca. There he decided he wanted to go and went out walking. Odd, no water, no food, no battery power, hardly. I called one of his friends saying she didn't know where he was and sent a location. At that moment, his cell phone is turned off and nothing else is known. Yesterday, a boy went to see if they could see him and found the young man's cell phone. Emma summoned someone or something, where did you hear about the mobile phone? And why none of the British or Spanish news channels have published that? True curiosity, because it can help the case. I think the phone, I mean, this was the 20th of June. So they found the phone, obviously. Someone else said, obviously, Daniela, why wasn't it published? True curiosity, because it can help the case. I think that maybe the information was taken off the phone by the police. But there's so many things which I believe the British police would have told us that the phone was found, and the Spanish police hierarchy haven't implemented. It's, you know, this story is such a joke. If it was my daughter, I'd be asking so many serious questions, and I wouldn't leave without those questions. But that's me personally. But that's odd, because like I said, a lot of people, some people may have heard that his phone was found, but this information is obviously out there somewhere. More information about a girl called Daniela, and I think she's a friend of Lucy's. So we're going to listen to the conversation. If I stop, it's just to make a comment. I'm just going to make sure the sound is up on this, which it is.
Hold on to me now. We was out there for 4 days. When we was out there, like, I'm genuinely not like gonna talk shit right now, because it wasn't okay. Like, we went up to Masca and we didn't see hardly any, but I think we've seen like quite a few reporters, and we've seen the police, or it might have been the mountain rescue for briefly about 10 minutes.
Who did she go out with? Lucy and some friends, it seems so. Was concerned about Jay. That's how the story seems to be going at the moment, and went to see what was going on.
For the full 4 or 5 days, 4 days that we was there, I seen one helicopter for about half an hour, not even that. And we were staying right next to Masca, like we was in a little town, not in Christmas or anything like that.
Just to confirm the date, this went up was on the 28th of June.
The little tiny town right at the side of Masca. So I don't really fucking understand what actually was going on when we was out there. We didn't see one poster. We actually got speaking to quite a few locals. They didn't even know about it. Again, that blew my mind. How is it not on Spanish news? I mean, if it had been and they just missed it, fair enough, I fully respect that. It was just really weird. It was really, really eerie and really strange. And I ended up turning the comments off on a couple of videos because I was getting trolled to death. But anyway, I'm not arsed now, like it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and think like that I'm a dickhead for going over there and I'm not come back with Jay. I didn't really expect to be finding him, like I just wanted to show that we was going to support him and see if we could find anything that could potentially have been used towards any form of evidence or anything like that. Like, at the end of the day, I had family out there that also was, I don't need to go into too much detail, but I have my other reasons for why I was there.
But obviously, this is Danielle. But didn't someone say Lucy's parents have got a house out there? That's why she's out there a lot of the time as well. And her parents must go out there in the summer months. That's what I've heard. And there are some sort of similarities look-wise. But it's definitely not Lucy.
Since coming home, I have seen on the news and obviously on TikTok there is people out there that are now searching. Seems to be more going on, which is really good. And we've got, I've seen like videos of drones and stuff like that again, which is amazing. But he isn't on that mountain, and not because I went out and looked, because I'm no fucking mountain expert or anything like that. But I genuinely don't think that. If he was still on that mountain, he would have been found by now. Whether it be by a police car, a police helicopter, drone, dogs, riding on sending like nothing at all. I'm not into more conspiracy than I have gone down a rabbit hole with some of them, and I have kind of looked at some of them myself within my class, but I find it going to the place where in the end of the day, they all won't leave because there isn't any evidence to back any of them. But there's also no evidence to prove things on the mountain either.
I think that's why that conspiracy was it killed and it wasn't there. And that's interesting, basically to say that she don't think he was there. And they would have found him by now with all that equipment, the drones and stuff, which is possibly true because it wasn't a great distance from his phone. That's what we do know.
Evidence to prove that when he left the club, like this was one of my questions today. When he left the club with two guys, where's it? Nightclubs in Tenerife, nightclubs all over the world, they'll have CCTV around them. Why is there no evidence of him with these two men? It just all doesn't add up, and I genuinely don't.
Yeah, it's very, very true. Why that wasn't documented and why so much little information about that. I think people are coming out and having their say, and sometimes there's some valuable information.
I think that it adds up, and I did think it added up when I was out there, but even more so now as time's going on. I mean, I personally think that he's still alive and he's being held against his will, and maybe he's going to be.
What made you say that? His mum thought that in one of the first interviews that he's been held against his will. What does she know? That is very, very, very strange. Very, very strange, because a lot of theories now about that was that they couldn't raise the money quick enough, and that he was probably killed and then his body thrown into the ravine or placed there and had passed away before they found the body and before the fall, apparently, in what the news said.
Released, but then again, or do people just get released after they've been held for that long because it's people that are holding them not worried that they're going to spout, or I don't know, it's all still absolutely mind-blowing.
Why is it so many people who are close to this case have said that he might have got into some trouble with mafia or over sweets? Why is it that we tend to go down that road? And I think 80-90% of people actually think that, but can't still get the story correct because that evidence is not put out there by the police. But we know the Spanish police know a lot more than what they're saying.
But that's just my theory. Agree if you want, don't agree if you want, I don't really care. I'm home now with my children and my family, and I'm happy, and I just genuinely hope that this boy is found and that his mum and dad get the closure that they want. And obviously I hope he's found alive. I don't mean it in any other way. But the longer the time goes on, the more scary it is, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, peace out all.
I mean, she seems genuinely worried, but I think people are going to actually question that. I'm just going to go to some of the comments. Someone said her name was Daniel. Someone said, "Phew, glad I heard the story. Is that girl in the video of the girl?" And Jay, it was on the news. She was left-hand corner of the video. So she obviously knew what happened and thought that she would make a statement. Why would the search stop unless they found him? I'm sick of this Jay stuff. It's just getting out of hand. And the GoFundMe is still going up and it's crazy. Why did you go home? Blah, blah, blah. She knows more than she's making out. I mean, I actually thought that in the video, maybe she done it on behalf of Lucy. Make your own minds up about that. Another interesting clip, which was interesting. I'll just play it and then I'll comment.
Space, I got lucky with the thought evolution in one thing. I'm gone, I've been far away, I'm illuminated, now I make a move, so waves. I've been dreaming of my life for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they won't go sign. I'm officially intelligent way. I'm the future, missing present, I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a missing link of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim, sing, I just flow. I don't need gravity, I just need flow. When I move, it's in a quick rumble. I won't ever ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like
I mean, it's said that his friends did know a lot more than what they let her on and actually lied. I truly believe that. The very first image, these are some of the comments, the very first image when Jay is looking back, the guy in the black t-shirt looks very similar to Tom Hilton. I'm not saying it's just similar, I don't even know what to think in this case. That's a possibility, but we can't confirm that it was actually there unless someone's got some information. You're right, that when Jay noticed him, then said to Brad, you stitching me up, Brad, said, bro, it's nah, not like that. Then Jay leaves surrounding by Tom and his mates, chased and killed. Wow. Is this true? What was the target for? They all live in the same area, why would they wait 2 years and do it in Tenerife? Maybe, like I said, less eyes, different area, and plus they could have known that it wasn't. In some ways, when I first came back from holiday and listened to this case, it did seem like a setup to me, because everything was too perfect, should I say, what's happened. It's like they wanted to get him out there. That's definitely a possibility, and I think a lot of friends, a lot of people are thinking that his friends weren't his real friend. Why, out of all the lads that did the attack on that Tom, would just Jay be targeted years later? It makes no sense. Surely they would look more on top if Tom Hilton's friends were at the same rave. Yeah, it's true. I know what you're actually saying there, but there was a lot of conversation that Jay was bragging about it for time after, and Tom could have got peed off with it, and it went from there, escalated from there. Seems why they're all watching him. Ever since I've seen this video, there is fears in Jay's face. He is getting back up. So leads back to Tomlin. Well, like I said, there's no proof of that, but a lot of people have put their assumptions out there. Little Miss Vodka, what do you think? Look, it's a possibility. I think a lot of people thought that from day one, but it was thrown out. But it definitely, it could have been him getting hurt on the beach or stabbed, as it was said, which is an awful thing. So I'm actually thinking, and you know, it is a massive thing that I can't get round. You know, had he died before, if he ever got to the apartment, that is, you know, a massive link which I would love to actually find out, just to basically just put this case to bed. I think a lot of the details on this case which have come back to what happened with Tom Hilton, and could it have been revenge? And this video was kind of strong, and a lot of people were looking elsewhere for answers. Like the Airbnb had a massive account, and I think it blurred people's visions. And when I really do think about this, only one blurry photo of him walking near the mountains, which was possibly not even him, or it could have been a fake picture actually made up. There's no, even though his phone was found in the hills, there's no evidence really that he was actually there. And that is debatable. I can't prove it, obviously, but I think it's a little bit debatable. And it's also debatable what happened at the Airbnb, if he was ever there. I'm going to play this video again, and please listen to it very careful, because I think this is the only scenario which really makes sense.
Really badly with a gang of lads. Tom Hilton's dad could never let this drop, even though his son demanded let things just be. Jay would often brag about the assault every time he was out and about in Rishton. This upset some friends that both Tom and Jay shared. A friend of Tom's dad who was in prison heard about the assault. His name was Ayub Qasim. Ayub is a notorious gang member and drug dealer. He has big connections and promised he would get vengeance for Tom. Whilst in prison, Ayub masterminded a perfect plan for when he was released and recruited a team of people and enticed them with big money, some of who were very close to Jay and in his trust circle. Ayub was released and...
So it makes you wonder, he was enticed across, but he wasn't sure, because I didn't even know Tom Hilton was at this rave, and that in Tenerife, and kept a low profile. That was kind of odd. And his friends, some of his friends best friends apparently didn't even come forward, and that makes me just think he was set up. And when you actually saw Tom there and saying obviously things about him, it does make sense why this, well, could have been a setup to get him back. But maybe it wasn't a case to end his life, but I think it may have gone too far.
And wanted the revenge to take place at an event such as a concert or a festival where plenty of witnesses would be. Ayub, his friend, Lucy, Brad, and 2 other men were involved in the plan. Part 1 of the plan was that over the next few days, get Jay absolutely wrecked on whatever was available and fill him with free drinks. Ayub and his friend would befriend the group and build massive trust with Jay, complimenting him and laughing at his jokes. Lucy and Brad would have to act like they never knew Ayub. Part 2, the night in question, Lucy would get Jay wrecked, then leave the venue early, getting as much attention as she could, and making sure enough people seen her go home. Then she would post Snapchats of herself stating, "early night," to leave a paper trail. Ayub and friends would then cause a distraction outside the venue and throw a fake Rolex watch to the floor supplied by Ayub. Ayub and his friend would encourage Jay to grab the watch. Then Brad would say he's heard rumours, it's an Albanian gangster's watch, and Jay needs to leave ASAP as they're searching for him. Meanwhile, the other 2 unknown men...
So, you know, right, this gang thing, it just sounds, when I hear about it, that he'd stole a watch, and the state he was in, who's he going to take it off? And I don't think he would take it off guys even if he was thinking about it, he would know if he was going to steal something. Generally he's not a very big lad who can he steal off, and he's not going to steal off someone that looks like mafia like, especially Albanian. That's was just a front, a blag, which sometimes a lot of people used, or the newspapers or whoever was talking about it.
Who also hired a second car, have stolen a boat. Ayub, his friend and Jay all jump in the pre-hired car whilst Brad leaves and informs the other two men that they are on their way. In the car, Ayub instructs Jay to take images of the watch on his phone and show his friends back home, making him brag that he stole a watch. Foolish.
People are using, it's funny, the watch was brought up, the police didn't even mention it, so it was obviously not in the case or even mentioned, or nobody reported a watch stolen. So I think that was just more information to make people look left, right, and keep people guessing. Very elaborate, very elaborate.
Actually, Jay does this. The two guys with the stolen boat have to delay things as the police are coasting the area for an unrelated issue. They tell Ayub to chill somewhere for a few hours until the dust settles. With nowhere to go, Ayub decides to hire an Airbnb, but uses an alias name of Ayub Abdul and then heads straight there. It's an hour's drive away and he only books it for 2 hours, which raises suspicions.
The thing is, money talks, and the owners, if they were paid up, or they knew Ayub, or there was a connection there, people can say things, and obviously because they've given a report and she's the owner, people are going to believe her. And we've got one grainy picture of him, and we've also got phone calls, interactions. How true is it? Who are we just going to go along with what the news said? Yeah, there was phone calls. There's really no proof of that at this present moment. No proof whatsoever he was actually live at the Airbnb. I truly believe that. And like I said, a lot of what happened to Jay Slater happened beforehand, when he got out of the club, maybe on the beach. Apparently he got stabbed, was bundled into a car, then on a boat. The boat, the scenario, coming in and out, it does make sense. But like I said, the time frames, some people are not sure of. The car to the boat, or when those images were actually taken off that boat, stolen.
There he waits for the signal of all clear from the boat boys. He then tells Jay that the Albanian gangsters are tracking Jay's phone and convinces him to give the phone to Ayub. He tells Jay that he will drive the phone in an opposite direction to confuse the gangsters, and that it's unsafe for Jay to travel with them, but not to worry as they will come back for him. He then tells Jay to knock on a random door and ask for directions, but once given directions to start walking uphill in the opposite direction, and they will come back for him. He said this is in case the gangsters ask locals if they have seen Jay. Ayub and his friend leave the Airbnb and set off back home. Once back where they are originally staying, they desperately gain attention on purpose to place them in the right place at the right time. They then instruct the boatmen with a burner phone to collect Jay and finish the job. Jay is collected and...
But, like I said, this is what makes me think that Jay was either injured or dead before, and maybe the ransom money that Jay's mum had mentioned, that he might have been kidnapped but didn't know he was dead at the time, maybe that had something to do with it. But I think this story is much more credible than anything else that I've heard. I thought sometimes it was a little bit over the top, a bit of a sort of a movie. When I listened to it, it was like movie-like at the end of the day, but like I said, it could have been very true. I think it was a very elaborate setup. I think people may ask why the other guys have not been hurt. That's a good question, but I think this is, any story, when you really listen to it, I think this is more credible. How it ended, I'm not so sure, but the beginning, I do think it was definitely a setup.
placed on the boat. Ayub gives Jay's phone to Brad, who then makes fictional calls to himself and Lucy, and also Snapchats with photos from Jay's gallery to friends back home. The phone...
Like I said, if you've got someone's phone, you could be saying anything. And if that phone's tracked by the police and it's led up to the mountains, it just cries out to me that basically he was set up. Like I said again, I think this story is more credible than anything else that I've heard. This is why I actually came back to it.
The phone then is taken to the hills, turned off and destroyed. Lucy is worried people will detect she's lying. Ayub instructs her to not face the cameras. If she's interviewed, as body language experts will know she has something to hide.
Someone said that Ayub might have been talking to a solicitor, which she knows in what to say and what not to say, and it just makes sense. Everyone thought it was weird why she wasn't actually facing the camera, which is odd. Some of his friends didn't even give interviews. There was another girl there was another lad there. Brad gave an interview, which a lot of people's body language seemed like he didn't really care, or he knew what happened. Lucy definitely knows what happened. I think as soon as he got on that plane, it was all downhill from there. I really do. I don't think he really wanted to go. Did he know Tom was going? That's debatable, but he was there at that rave in Tenerife.
They tell Brad that if he is under the influence whilst being filmed, then body language experts will get inconclusive readings. This is why he was smiling throughout. He was potentially under the influence. Everyone returns home. They think they have committed the perfect crime. The 30k GoFundMe was a distraction, as was the watch. This was a long-awaited, well-planned revenge attack, but hiring the Airbnb was not in the original plan. Is that their downfall? The Jay Slater theory
So my final thoughts on this case, I think Jay was set up. I think there was a lot of money exchanged for people to keep their mouth shut, including bribery to the police. I think that Jay's mum and dad knew a lot more, that he was kidnapped, but didn't know whether he was alive or not. This is my theory. This is what I honestly think that what happened to Jay. I think his body could have been thrown down there and nobody known into the ravine and nobody known any difference. The video of the dogs barking and a lot of cattle uncomfortable, and dogs can smell death. That was a little bit strange. But let me know what you think. I'm just going to read some of the comments. This has to be true. It just adds up. Best explanation up to now. This is the most sense I've heard since this started, with Jay being missed. Poor Jay Slater, I hope he's found. Oh my god, this is the most reasonable explanation I've seen yet. We'll explain the men in the car looking for something. At the very beginning, they were looking for the phone to see if Jay is hiding. Wow. About the most realistic theory I've heard so far. Yes, I think this could be right. Jay Slater talked to me. This has made the most sense out of every other theory I've heard. It does make a lot of sense. I've been talking about this for weeks, and I've got to make some kind of what I honestly, truly think from my heart and mind. I would definitely go to this situation, but like I said, it was rotten from top to bottom. And I do think a lot of these things happen in Tenerife, and the police just sweep it under the carpet there and just want to keep the island reputation, Tenerife, clean, and that these things don't go on there. It's like I said, I think those mountains, have got a lot of dark secrets, but some of them will never ever be revealed. Best explanation I've seen so far. Oh wow, this actually all adds up now. This is the best explanation so far. People are really... This is the best story that I've heard by far. Everything pieces together from the start till the end. It does, but like I said, I think the Airbnb took a lot of people off course, what they were really supposed to be thinking. The watch, the drugs as well. Like I said, maybe he was, as I said this week, maybe he was doing a bit out there, and maybe had lost something. But I don't think it was the explanation for him to go missing. I think he was set up, and I think he was killed for something he did in his past. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment. I've got other videos coming on different topics, so bear with me. I'm getting some new equipment in, especially on the sound. It is a reasonably new channel, and I'll see you all soon. Take care, wherever you are in the world. And thank you for the old subscribers and the new subscribers. Thank you.